Welcome to the Business Growth Spotlight, where we shine the light and talk with business leaders from all over the world to share their insights and experience and expertise so we can all grow together. I'm your host, Heidi, and the co-founder of the Spotlight to Scale Accelerator, where we drive revenue for companies by making sure that they are seen as the authority and go-to expert in their industry versus just another product and service. And I gotta say, I've just been so honored over the last episodes of this launch of this podcast to be truly talking from leaders from all over the world. And today is no different. Today, I'm being joined by Javier Cuesta with B&B Executive Leadership. And as we're currently speaking, he told me behind the scenes that we're talking with him in Spain. So welcome, Javier, to the show.
Welcome, Heidi. It's a real pleasure to be here with you. And you already suggested I'm actually from Spain. I've been living in the States since 2014, but I was born and raised in Madrid. That's where the crazy accent came in. And basically, I started in 2014 in the US with I was actually brought by a multinational to start a new business there. And it was quite shocking from the European perspective to come from the European market to the US market, and in particular the job market, where it's so much more dynamic than Europe. We will talk more about my career, but my personal life, I have three wonderful daughters, 1, 5, and 6, so I have my hands full right now. And I've been honored to live in 2 different countries, 2 different regions of the world. I'm very open to different cultures, different ways of thinking, and I believe that that European American mindset it's incredible because we can provide a lot of things to the other. I love basketball. I'm 6'5", so
Wow.
I'm quite tall.
Yeah.
And I love movies. And actually, my company was the name of my company was based on one of my favorite movies. I'll put it out there, and then later maybe we can talk about it.
Yeah, so let's talk about one. Congratulations on your 5 and 6-year-old. I have a 14 and 15-year-old, so I know that yours are close in age. And yes, you have your hands full. But it's such a
I have
beautiful
3,
journey.
eh?
Oh, you have
1, 5, and
3.
6.
Oh,
1, 5,
3.
and 6. 3
1, 5, and
daughters.
6. Okay, well, yeah, you do. You got a baby and then a 5 and 6-year-old who are close in age, which is great. So enjoy the moments because they go so fast. Believe me, my daughter is learning how to drive, and I'm like, where did the time go? She was 5.
Wow.
She was just
Yeah.
5 the other day. Anyway, let's get back to business here. And so I would love to learn more about your company. So can you tell us that? And yeah, now I'm intrigued. Where did the name of your company, what movie did it stem from? And can you tell us what you do and your role that you play within the company?
Sure. So back in 2020, 3 weeks before everyone shut down their countries with COVID, I decided it was a great time to start my own venture, right? And I named the company Bedford and Bailey. Now it's B&B Executive Leadership, but B&B stands for Bedford and Bailey. The reason why I put this name, it was basically I don't share the story, but it's appropriate because at the end of the day, I was a Spaniard in the US, so my last name or the last name of my partners wouldn't make sense because sometimes it's hard to pronounce to a lot of Americans. So I needed to find something that was different. And one of my favorite movies, it was It's a Wonderful Life by Frank Capra. It's a
Yeah.
1946 movie. It's one of the greatest Christmas, not Christmas, one of the greatest movie ever made. And it's the story of George Bailey that lives in Bedford Falls. And he's not happy with the life that he's in, to the point where, he's looking for answers. And that's where the angel Clarence showed him how the world would have been without him. And that's when he discovered how fortunate he has been, even though he didn't fulfill the dreams that he had in these younger years. He actually impacted in the life of a lot of people, and that happens a lot in careers. We think that we don't have the greatest job at all, and we don't appreciate our life. But then if you change the perspective, if you just reframe the way you work, then you start seeing the impact you have created in a lot of businesses and a lot of people and a lot of lives. At the end of the day, that's what we always want to do, right? In Bedford and Bailey or B&B Executive Leadership, we have 4 different businesses. We have executive search, we call it, talent attraction and development. The reason why we do that is because all our executive search services or projects, they include an onboarding coaching program that intimately links with one of our other expertise, that is executive coaching. Okay, so we have talent attraction and development. We have high performance teams that basically it's a combination of using the right diagnostic tools, like executive assessments and the 360 evaluation, with using the appropriate coaching team for executive committee, board members, or whatever is the case. And basically, we try to customize our coaching programs, identifying 1 or 2 key competencies to develop. Because at the end of the day, we are in a constantly changing environment. We need to adapt, and our executive, we need to develop ourselves. A different context provides a different scenarios, and we need to adapt to that scenario. And the only way we can do that is if we consciously develop a specific skill set. The third area would be strategic consulting, and the fourth would be board and the executive committee evaluation, assessment. Basically, our core is we know how to search people and attract people. We know how to develop people. We know how to assess people, and we know how to coach people. We have different coaching, for individual, always B2B, but for individual executive, we have different coaching programs more attached to a specific transition within the career, succession planning, individual contribution, onboarding, senior leaders, high potential, new managers. So we always try to have a specific programs for a specific transition that one of our clients want to work in. So that's what we do. We have an office in Madrid. We have an office in Miami. We operate in America, in Mexico, in Brazil, in Canada, in the United States, but also we operate in EMEA, Portugal, France, Spain, Italy, Germany. So we are 26 people. We've been growing so far quite substantially, and hopefully, the trend keeps going up.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your story. That's powerful. And I always tell people, like, it's really important that you're sharing your story out there. I know that was one of my challenges when I first started my business, is like, I was like, who wants to hear the background of it? But it just allows people to connect with you on a much deeper level. Like, I love that story about Bedford and Bailey and how you came up with it, and really the core message behind it, which is really a beautiful message. Like, we don't always appreciate what we have in the moment. We're always looking at what other people have, and maybe we should be doing more, and not grateful for where we're at, and not even realize the impact that we're already making. Not to say that we don't always want more, right? And to keep thriving and growing, but to really be in the moment is powerful. And thank you for sharing all about your company and your mission and what you do. You had said at the beginning that it was but 3 weeks before COVID hit that you decided to start a company.
So
And
I think it was 5 years, actually. In a week, it's going to be 5 years.
5 years, but 3 weeks before COVID hit, like before everything was shut down, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell us the inspiration? What inspired you to take this endeavor, to start this journey?
Well, when it comes to the services business, whatever service you provide, you always have to ask yourself the right question. Am I selling because of the name of the company that I'm representing, or am I selling because of who I am? That's it could be, you could think it's an easy question to answer, but you have to do it. And until you do it, you don't have the answer. But I was, at that time, I was 90% sure that I had a high possibility that could happen. So I always had in mind, creating my own thing. And the good thing is that in the US versus other regions of the world, to start a new business is much more simpler, less red tape, much more transparency, much more efficiency. It's easy to just make business with suppliers, with contractors, with whoever. So I think the US was the right environment to start my own business, and that's how everything started. And so far, the answer I asked myself, the question I asked myself a few years ago. I think I checked that one out.
Yeah. So can you share, you talked about the company. Can you elaborate, Javier, on the key services you offer, such as your executive search, talent development, strategic consulting, and how do these services address the unique challenges faced by organizations today?
Mm. Well, we actually started the business in one of the most changing environments. I think the COVID taught us a lot of things what we discussed about framing things differently, how important was to just get out and to spend time with your family and friends. And for some time it was difficult. So I don't know if we still appreciate it as much as we did when everything opened up again. But definitely, I think at that time we had we truly value what we had before. So in the job market at the time, it was everything changed. There was so many different options for employers to offer present employees and future employees an attractive, value proposition. Remote working, became, just a reality. Flexible environments, hybrid environments, going to the office, to be quite honest, for specific functions has become a true challenge for a lot of companies to recruit people that they want to spend 5 days a week in the office. And some companies they wanted to do this all and just they have their market, the job, their candidate market, and that's fair. But definitely that make all the finding the right talent battle so much more complex. And that's where we got in, right? Not only in attracting the right people, but also nurturing the existing employees to make sure that they're comfortable, that they have a true sense of belonging to whatever mission they want to achieve within the company. I think more than ever, people stay with you because they want to stay with you, not because they have to stay with you. And that changed completely. And now human resources department are investing more in people. They have to. And now not only they have to, but now they are appreciating that has a lot of return. And I think that's where we get in. And you name the 4 different business lines that we have. I'll be happy to discuss more in detail each one of them if you have any questions around it. But definitely, we try to provide solution in an environment where attracting and engaging the talent has become much more complex than ever. And that's where company like us, we can make some difference.
Yeah. Can you actually, what are the key components of your leadership program? So let's talk about those aimed at fostering autonomous and proactive high performance teams.
So the sense of belonging, what is the sense of belonging? Sense of belonging is a feeling where employees perceive that what they're working in is something that is truly valuable for them, and they just work proactively. They don't work by obligation. They truly feel that they're doing something for their lives, for someone else's life, for the company, and they're truly engaged. So with that context, it's important that we give everyone the freedom to have that decision to make, that autonomy to start up things, and that autonomy to just have people appreciate what you are doing for the business. For that, we need managers that can implement that type of environment, because sometimes in more hierarchical companies where you have a manager or a boss that tells you what to do, we don't create that environment where you're not opening space to your employees to just have them freedom to be themselves and have them freedom to propose, to be creative. And there's a lot of things that you can actually work to have that autonomous and self-sufficient teams. The environment has completely changed. The context has changed. So our managers need new tools to engage their employees, to manage their employees, to have them happy where they are. Because if they're not happy, then they would go somewhere else. It's just as simple as that. They have more opportunities than ever. The industry, to switch jobs has become easier than ever to move from one industry to the other. Because at the end of the day, companies are not attracting talent that come from your competitor. They're attracting talent that may be in another region of the United States because you have a remote policy. They're attracting talent from other industries that that they feel that they can have competencies and out of the box skill set that may not have it internally, that they can bring them in, and they have much more tools to convince them. So in that environment, we need to make sure that our managers have the capabilities to develop these teams, to provide them the right tools to have a very structured and cohesive team, and that will bring results. I'm sure about that. So we, in our coaching programs, we bring diagnostic tools, executive assessments that will allow us to understand what are the key competencies of each of the managers and how we can align these key competencies with the current context that we are living. If it's industry change, if it's bringing the company from 1.0 to 2.0, either if it's making the company more international or scaling up the business, whatever is the context. Each context, a turnaround business, each context it's different, and the type of skills that we need to tap into are different. And the only way we can do that is if we are more aware of how we are and how we can, and if we are more aware of how we are, then we can definitely, like a surgeon, work on one or two key competencies with our executive coaches that can help and boost the productivity of their managers and hopefully of everyone in the company, all the employees.
One thing I heard from you, or what I'm hearing as you're speaking, is culture and the importance of creating a really cohesive, strong culture of support, and with resources as well as with humans that are truly supporting, so the teams feel like that they can trust the management staff. And when you have that, then everything else will be successful because you're moving as a team versus just, and everybody's working for a common purpose, right? And they're feeling like they're contributory versus they're just here for a specific punch the clock type of skill, that they're actually contributing, and they're more likely to stay long term and have less turnover. So there's so many benefits for the organization. So do you work with specific type of organizations? Can you share with us? So if somebody, a leader of a company, is listening and going, you know what, I might need to talk with Javier, like letting them know if they're a fit or not. Do you work with a specific type of organization, or can anyone reach out to you?
I think it's very interesting that when it comes to all the consulting and coaching side of our business, that's industry agnostic. At the end of the day, it's all about people. It's all about creating dynamics. It's all about developing key competencies of whatever executive. And our coaches, they come from so many different backgrounds. We have coaches that come from the financial services, other coaches that they've been entrepreneurs themselves, and they succeeded by building a great company. The companies that they come from industrial manufacturing companies, other coaches that they come from, you name it. So at the end of it, it's always assigning the right coaches for the right employees. We always want to see that there's some similarity between the executive that we are coaching with, the coach that we assign. All the executives have two chemistry calls with two different coaches, and that help them to make a decision on what type of coaching will be better for them. I think coaching should be very proactive, and sometimes companies they say, I'm gonna get you a coach, but more for kind of surveillance and kind of overseeing what the guys are doing more than empowering leaders to grow. I think so that's the reason why we want to create a coaching programs where the coachee, in this case, they have all the power in their hands to decide what type of coaching they want to get, to work with their coaches on what are the main skill set they want to develop themselves. So they have very they can easily track their development. When it comes to so that's the coaching and consulting business, that it's industry agnostic. When it comes to executive search, our core, it's mainly industrial manufacturing companies and then engineering real estate companies. Those are the two main businesses. Obviously, within industrial, we have life sciences, we have food and beverage production and services, we have equipment machinery companies, and then we have small companies and big multinationals. At the end of the day, right now, more than ever, I think the pandemic also helped with that. People don't care that much about the size of the business and the tenure of the business. They care about how they feel with the business again. So we can help small business that they are starting up their operation. They've been 5 years in the market, or very consolidated industries, or companies that they've been in the market for 100 years. They have presence in 20 countries, and they want to keep hiring the best talent in the market.
So what trends, Javier, what emerging trends do you foresee in executive leadership and talent development? And how is B&B Executive Leadership preparing to address these changes, if any?
Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Yeah, what emerging trends do you foresee in executive leadership and talent development?
So as mentioned, the leader more than ever needs to be a leader and not a manager or not a boss. Imposing anything would never be successful anymore. And I say that because back in the days, even in 2014, when I came to the US, I was in Spain. In Spain and in Europe, the job market is not as dynamic in the US. So employees don't have as many possibilities. They didn't have as many possibilities as they had in the US to move somewhere else. After the pandemic, as mentioned before, the changing from one industry to the other was so much easier because companies start offering different ways of working, not only being in the office but also all the other modalities that we spoke. So at that time in 2014, when people had no choice but to follow to stay in the company, the managers or the bosses could actually succeed. Hey, whether you like it or not, go somewhere else. It's winter out there. But now they don't have that option. So in Europe or in Latin America, now we're starting to see that management needs to change, that we need to turn our bosses into leaders, into people that inspire others to follow them, into people that inspire others to just get the best out of themselves. And I think that's crucial. And that's when coaching could become a great tool. And that's, I think it's a great moment for coaching, because there's more and more companies that they're investing in developing the leaders. sometimes with company like ours, sometimes internally, they need to, include coaching and coaching tools to engage and be successful.
Yeah. So, Javier, you mentioned you've been in business over 5 years now. So, I'm sure you've had some challenges along the way. We all do as we're growing. So, can you share a challenge that you've had, in your growth over the last 5 years and how you overcame it?
So I think starting a business from zero, you learn every day. Having said that, there's some things that you see and you can anticipate, and some things that you're not able to see at all. I think the first time that I really struggled with my business was when I think it was the end of 2022. At that time, we have a little bit of uncertainty. We have the war between Russia and Ukraine. The cost of the energy went up like crazy. A lot of tech companies were cutting jobs, and at that time there was a contraction in the U.S. market. In addition to that, we have consolidated clients that they've been at that time they were big cash cows. Like they were, they were with us. They were going up, and we were with them. We were supporting them. And what happens is that our contacts within the organizations, the CEOs, the CHROs, they move somewhere else, and then you start losing big accounts. And you, to that point, you only relied in 5 or 6 big accounts that they were just the business was flowing, and you forgot about keep on developing your new business because you were comfortable with that. So people move from one company to the other, so you stop controlling those companies, those companies that they've been with you for a long time. Then they have somewhere else that have their own providers, and sometimes you can do something, but most of the times you can't. So you get to a point where like, wow, I have 20 people working for me. We've been a very successful business, but if we don't get new business, then I don't know if it's going to be sustainable anymore. So that taught me that you always have to be out there in the market. You always have to spend time, putting yourself out there, meeting with people, working on building proper relationships and trustful relationship. So you just don't rely on 5, 6 major accounts, because you always need new to promote yourself out there, to promote what you do out there, and that helped me. And obviously, not only it helps me to anticipate, but also it helps us to navigate when sometimes a main account does not work with us anymore because someone left, and that is a great learning point. And I think we learn from it. We diversify a lot more from it, so we don't rely on a few companies, but we rely in many more companies. And also we also diversify our business. We open this strategic consulting business. We are more closely working with private equity and family offices that are not only it's a great industry itself, but also it's a great industry that connects you with a lot of operating companies. So at that time, you have the relationship with the private equity, and you start working not only with just one company, but with all the operating companies of the business. So I think it's great that sometimes we fail. The thing is to learn about it and then to implement the learnings in the future.
Yeah, failure is not necessarily failure. It's just a learning to take the next step, right? Action brings clarity. And you have to be able to, in order to grow, things are going to evolve and you have to be flexible to evolve with them and learn from what's working and what's not working. So you mentioned, that pipeline and it's important to have that lead flow, not get comfortable with what you have, because we can do that as we're good. We've got a steady flow of revenue coming in. We've got big clients. We're like, okay, we're good. And then
Our
like you
comfort zone.
said, I'm sorry.
Our comfort zone. Yeah, we are in
Yes,
our
we're in
comfort
our comfort
zone.
zone, right? And
Nothing
things
will
are,
stop us.
yeah, and we're like, oh, we could coast like this for 2 years. And then, like you said, we don't know the external factors that could happen to one of our clients. And then all of a sudden that revenue could be gone. So it's important to have that lead flow and that pipeline. How do you and your company keep that pipeline going?
So I think we learned that partnerships are key to grow. So we
Mm,
have built great partnerships, not only for the consulting area, but also for the executive search area. We partner with companies, but also we partner with the senior executives that for so many years have built great relationships. And that's the power of networking. And the power of your network at some stage in your life should also be beneficial for them. So we also have great executives that we've been working with for a long time. They know us. We've been suppliers for them. They've been client of us. And now they might be going somewhere. They may have their own businesses, and we establish partners with them. Also, we are strong in communicating. We have a YouTube channel. We have a LinkedIn channel as well, where we, kind of upload interviews like the ones that you're doing with, senior executives, CEOs from public companies, or bestseller authors, or NBA players or NBA coaches. We always like to translate things from sport and movies
mm.
to more conventional industries. So communication is key, partnerships is key, and then obviously all of us, we need to be ambassadors of what we do, and we need to always be open to share what we do. The more we share, the more we we um, um, we talk to others, we listen to others about what they're going through, the more opportunities we'll have to keep on growing, not only in a country, but in different regions of the world. And I think never stop. Don't get comfortable, and always be aligned to what you think the business should be. Sometimes we feel that a short-term win could be beneficial for us, but if that short-term win is not aligned with what you want to do, then the good thing is, maybe the best thing to do would be to move on to make sure that you are aligned to what you truly believe in.
Yeah, so much goodness there. Be an ambassador and alignment, so important. So my two last questions for you, Javier. If you had a magic wand and you can wave it on one issue that you're having right now inside of your business, what would that be? If you could
Can you
solve
repeat that again?
yeah, if you could solve
Okay.
one problem right now with a magic wand and go poof, it's gone, what would that one thing be?
Um, I would say so. As of today, we are 26 professionals that we work so far.
Mhm.
Most of us we work. I work with the executive coaches on projects, break base when we have an executive committee or we have individual executives, and they work with us and we work together. Um, so, we haven't we are not very established when it comes to technology. I think our company operates quite well for the size we have and the type of projects we have. But obviously, there are some software technologies that we can improve. We are also looking for a better CRM than the one we have right now. I think we still operate like a small business, and that's completely fine. I think we need to find the right time to invest in technology. And I think, from the client perspective, they have a lot of technological tools that it's doing, that they're very happy with. But I think our internal process, we still operate with sometimes with not as sophisticated as in multinationals. Obviously, that doesn't impact the clients or the overall results for the business. But in the event that we want to bring more and more people, then we'll get to a critical size where we just need to be more professional. And this is a very subtle line. We can become more professional internally as we operate, but we never have to lose who we are and what we are here for. Because sometimes, bringing technologies, bringing processes in place, bringing all these things that most of the times are very positive, could also bring red tape, could also bring less agility, could also bring being more corporate and less the human beings that are
Right.
willing to help others. So you always have to balance. But I think definitely we are in a moment where we need to invest more in operating procedures within the company that will make it more professional. So whenever we bring other people, they feel that the transition from a big multinational, you have everything, you have all the support, you have a lot of other things that you won't be able to here in B&B. You have a lot of other things that you won't be able to get in a multinational. But if someone comes in and he or she is comfortable in that environment, let's invest in that. I think we always have that balance of understanding what we are and what we want to be. Investing in processes and operating procedures is always good.
Yeah, that's always good because eventually then it's going to help a company become more efficient and productive. But also, like you said, you don't want to be able to lose that humanness that makes you unique and special and why your clients work with you in the first place and the executives work with you. It's like you want to keep that. But it's nice to have those processes and those systems in place to help you internally be more efficient or more organized and professional so that you can support your clients even better and more on a human capacity, be more available to them. So my last question for you is, Javier, if we were able to come back in a year and sit down again over the next 12 months, what would success look like for you and B&B?
So I think in a year, we definitely want to expand ourselves in the countries that we already opened. I think in Mexico we are doing great, but we can actually do better. There's a lot of manufacturing industries out there. We have a lot of Hispanic coaches and myself, I'm bilingual English Spanish, so that it's one of our key markets. In Latin America, we also have operated in Brazil and we want to consolidate out there. And then one of our bigger aims would be to help more people and more companies get into the US market and understand the US market. When it comes to European companies that they want to get into the United States market, sometimes it's hard for them to understand the salaries that you guys get, the turnover you have. I understand why people leave. Well, I think, you come from a European job market and you come, in a job market that's less dynamic than the US market. So unless you change or you adapt your culture to your market, you're not going to do anything. So there's a lot of education that we need to do that. We've been helping bridging the gap of a lot of European companies in Latin America that they have established in the US. And I think the more people we bring in, the more companies we help understand the cultural difference. That's what we enjoy, and we thrive in the cultural difference. That's what is inclusion about. That's what diversity is about. I think that will be a great thing. So I think market consolidation, bringing even more people to the US market and more companies to the US market. And then In addition to that, we're also working on a side project. I can't tell you too many things right now, but we are bringing professionals that comes from the manufacturing industry and putting ourselves a big team that could also provide solution on the operational, financial, and product side of things to manufacturing clients that they would like to sell the company at some point and or grow their business or get their company into private equity or companies that they can work with them to make them grow and bring it to the next level. That is something that we have in mind, that we are putting everything together, and hopefully next year it will be a reality. Right now, it's just an idea.
Yeah, amazing. So can you, for Javier, for somebody listening right now, for our listeners, can you let them know how they can connect with you, reach out?
Yeah, so we have a website, bbexecutiveleadership.com. We have a YouTube channel, LinkedIn channels. I'm very active on LinkedIn, so if anyone wants to reach out, feel free to drop me a line. I'll be happy to answer. Then our website, you guys have our contact information. You have access to our WhatsApp and emails. So we are very reachable. We are very approachable, and I think we are easy to contact. So feel free to get a meeting with us and see what we can do for you.
Absolutely. So for you listening, please reach out to Javier. Let him know you heard him on the Business Growth Spotlight podcast. And you can, Javier Cuesta, you can reach out to LinkedIn. We will have his YouTube. We'll have all of his links in his website, which is bbexecutiveleadership.com. We'll have all of his links and contact information, as well as his bio and all the things that you get to know about him in the show notes of this episode. And if you've enjoyed this episode and you're watching us on YouTube, please leave us a subscribe and leave a comment for Javier below. And if you are listening to us on one of your favorite podcast platforms, we would love a 5-star review. And please share this. Share this with anyone that you know that would get value from Javier's and my conversation today. Thank you, Javier, for being with me here today, all the way from Spain. I appreciate your time. Grateful.
Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure, Heidi, and I wish you the best. You guys are great. You guys are doing a great job in promoting other businesses like us, and make sure I'll make sure that I'll promote your work, and hopefully this is the first of many other conversations we'll have in the future.
Absolutely. I look forward to having you back again. And thank you for listening to us, Javier and I, on the Business Growth Spotlight podcast. If you are looking to grow your visibility and strategically, and you just don't know what to do next, then go ahead and download our free blueprint at spotlighttoscale.com/blueprint. You can grab that and get your first steps into growing your visibility. Because if you want lead gen, you want more clients, you need to get more visible, but there's a strategic way of doing that. And again, reach out to Javier, LinkedIn, his website. We're going to have all the info in the show notes. Thank you, Javier. Thank you for listening to Javier and I today on the Business Growth Spotlight, and we'll see you on the next episode.